IVM.
Hello and welcome to the ATKT Talent Tent podcast. It's me, Krupa.
And the best from Andheri West, P-Man.
And we're talking to the freshest talent in India. Today we have Roshni Raheja from SSLA, that's Symbiosis School of Liberal Arts.
From Pune.
From Pune,
We
yes.
have another outstation student.
Hi.
Amazing, man. Hi.
What's happening?
What's happening?
I am on vacation. It's great.
Oh.
Love vacation.
We also had an amazing time today. Ask why?
Why? What did you guys do?
We shot for one of the Side Essays podcast episodes today, and it was a blast. I got to meet one of my teenage P-Man heroes, Mr. Cyrus. And
That was great. And we were talking about our favorite topic, ourselves.
yeah,
That was awesome.
it's nothing better than talking about ourselves.
Cool. So what we're going to do is watch Roshni perform her poetry after this nano break.
Do you wish you were smarter? Well, so do we. But the next best thing?
We could make you sound smarter.
And to help you with this endeavor, we are Simplified, a podcast that attempts to break down the complex world around you with a little knowledge, a lot of poor jokes, and a ton of random trivia.
Episodes out every Monday.
On the IVM podcast app or wherever you get your podcasts.
See ya!
So this is called Dirt. I read a book where a girl claimed that if she lay down quietly and put her ear to the ground, she'd hear the earth's heartbeat resounding in her body, in perfect synchronicity with her own. Maybe my ribs are wound too tightly around me for the echoes of the earth to reverberate through, but I have always felt most like myself when I am closest to the dirt, the layer of stardust and microorganisms that life grows in, somehow. When the best friends you have are a magnolia tree, its crowded, bulging roots and the handfuls of soil it can survive without scraped from around its base, you learn to love the crumbling ruins as if they were part of your own. And the earth has been by me no matter what the season or where the place. The drawling red clay has shaped my hands just as much as the soft black loam has watered my soul. When the world becomes too much to juggle from one hemisphere to the other, I inevitably find myself reaching for the safety of the earth. Its airy weight under my fingernails and yielding permanence under the soles of my feet have never failed to put my troubles at bay, reminding me of where I began and how far I've come. Perhaps this is why I've never taken the word dirt as an insult. Maybe that's why dirty work or getting my hands dirty have always been more enticing than repulsive, and maybe that's why I sometimes let people walk all over me. And on days when I am too tired to be solid, I find myself getting carried away, bits of myself caught in the treads of their shoes or the spaces between their toes, forgotten in the tracks they leave in their wake. When they depart, yet another. I have never been the kind to sweep someone off their feet. Instead, I am reliable, the solid ground that holds them up, and I know, trust me, just how thankless it can be. But as long as I cradle the seedlings of greatness in the hollows of my palms, plant them in the dips of my spine, and water them until flowers bloom through the spaces between my ribs, it'll be worth it.
Welcome back to the ATKT Talent Tent. That was Roshni Raheja with her poem Dirt.
And that was pretty special. As is this episode very special. Ask why?
Why is that?
Because unlike all the other episodes, this episode, I am drinking milk. Normally, IVM offers you coffee or water or Coke or something. I said, can I have a glass of milk? And they got me a glass of milk. They are awesome, yeah, the people at IVM over here.
They also turned 4 yesterday.
They did. I mean, this
They
is going to
did.
come out way after that, but they just turned 4.
Yeah.
Awesome, guys.
You know what
Congratulations.
else is awesome? Roshni's poetry.
Yes.
Also, congratulations, IVM. That's really cool.
Yes. Tell us more about Dirt. How long back did you write this?
This is like, I think, 2 years ago.
All right.
It was an airplane poetry movement prompt, actually. And everybody took it to mean things like dirtiness and like a whole different meaning was construed from it altogether. And I was like, hey, it's just mud, guys. Just mud.
And just for people who don't know, can you tell a little bit more about airplane poetry movement
Airplane
and
poetry
why
movement.
is it important?
Okay, so I've actually worked this. I have a little bit of a biased opinion here. I'm going to be aggressively promoting them. But it was started by Shantanu and Nandini. They're both law students, graduates. And what they do is they promote poetry in all sorts of different spaces among the youth. And it's pretty amazing. They have like workshops and courses, and they have like a lot of online engagement, and it's fun stuff.
How long back? Are you still working with them?
No, so I stopped working with them earlier this year, but I worked with them for like a while on like content curation and stuff like that.
Has anyone from this airplane poetry movement broken through and hit big, like how you have Aranya Johar and Ramneek Singh and all?
As for viral videos, I'm not really sure, but a lot of people have like taken part in contests through APM and then like won and gotten published and stuff through them.
So what do winners get for these contests?
Getting published is a big one, getting like articles about them, and so like not like the videos going viral per se, but other.
So like the quality of your, like you get praised for the quality of your work.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm very curious. How important or how much of importance is your video going viral given when in spaces like this or in communities like this, especially like in the airplane poetry movement? How important is it for a poet to have his video get those massive views?
I don't know actually, because mine never have, but not like I tried. But also, I think if you have good content and you put it out to a place where people can see it, that's pretty cool in itself. I don't know how much a viral video affects that or not.
Okay.
And also, I don't know how much I don't know how strong the link is between quality and like going viral.
All right. Is there anything like, your poets from a particular community will see that, okay, if this poet has got so many lakhs or 1 million or 2 million views, but he or she can't perform. It's just that 1 4-minute piece or 3-minute piece. Do you all then say that, you're an actor, you're not a poet, you're just good on video?
No, I don't think so. I don't think I've ever had anyone I've ever heard anyone say that or anything. It's, if people like your work, who are you to judge if it's, if it's not my work and other people like it, it's not my place to judge on whether it's good or not because people like it.
Wow, that's nice. Does it also happen in poetry where, 2-3 people together will write a piece and then one person goes and performs it, like sometimes how in music you have many writers who contribute towards a song, but then the face of the song is the vocalist. Is there something like that?
No, I don't really think so, because as far as most people I know in general in the circle and everything, it's more of a personal account of something. Like in a poem, it's usually not something you do in collaboration where only one person performs. Like if it's in collaboration, then everyone performs. It's not like music in that sense.
Okay. All right.
So no ghostwriters in poetry?
No. I mean, maybe for extremely famous people, maybe.
Yeah, like when all your celebs are coming on.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Exactly. But not with normal people.
Have you written for any celebs?
No,
Bollywood
never.
stuff? No?
Mm-mm.
Would you?
I don't think so.
Why not?
Because everything I write is inherently personal.
All right.
And it's more fun that way. So I don't know if I would be good enough to do it for someone else, and B, want to do it for someone else.
What if that person is going through or has gone through a similar experience you've had? Do you think your poetry can be adapted to his or her?
I mean, yeah, it could be, but I don't know. I don't see myself doing it.
All right. Have you made money off your poetry?
I have not.
But is there a scope for it?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. There definitely is. So, for me, poetry is, it's a huge part of my life and everything, but it's not my primary life path. So, I mean, I've made money working for airplane poetry movement and, other parts of what they do.
Like?
So I did digital marketing for them and stuff.
Okay. The non-poetry
stuff. So, but all of it was based on poetry because I was curating content and then using that I was making designs and marketing plans and stuff like that. So that was really cool. That was a lot of fun.
Now, again, this airplane poetry movement is only in Pune or it's all over? I remember seeing a chapter in Delhi.
Yeah, so they have chapters in most cities. So they have a chapter in Bangalore, they have a chapter in Bombay. So basically they did this thing a few years ago where they did this movement of sorts where there was a month-long training program on writing and performing and doing it with a cause in mind. So one of the things that they done was, I think, poetry and mental health. And what they did was they had intensive training programs for current people who already do write to like hone their skills and come up with an amazing poem, and then they would produce the video and stuff, and
All right.
that's how it went out.
Okay. Tell us more about Dirt now. Come on.
Dirt.
I really want to know about Dirt. And since you've given a little context that it was supposed to be an April poetry thing and Dirt was a topic given, but you chose this tangent.
I don't know. I just really like mud.
Nice. I love the elaborate.
That is the best explanation I have. I just really like mud. Mud's great. Mud's amazing.
What were some of the other tangents other people wrote for Dirt?
I mean, like, if you go into like symbolism and like the idea of like feeling dirty, and you can take a lot of directions with that.
Did anyone write about not taking a bath?
No, not that I remember.
All right. I think I would have written about not taking a bath because that's what dirty is for me.
Let's not even talk about the story you said at lunchtime.
Yeah, oh yeah, okay, yeah.
Right.
I feel like that was a prompt to talk about it.
No.
I wish it was.
No.
But it's just, it'll make me feel dirty even.
Yeah.
Like bringing it up.
So tell me about the poetry scene in your college. Are you a member of the Poetry Society, spoken word?
So we have this. So my college, it's a liberal arts college, which means that they highly encourage stuff outside of like coursework, and a big part of that is through clubs. And there's been a poetry club in my college for the last 6 years or so. It was started by one of the first students of our college, actually, who is massively into poetry and stuff. And when I joined, she was my senior, and I thought she was really cool. And I already did like poetry, but thanks to her, I got like super into it. I started writing and performing and competing in slams and stuff. And at present, I had the club. It's
Whoa.
pretty cool.
Intense.
You know, the coolest part, not the coolest, one of the coolest parts of this club is that it's called It Could Be Verse. Like VERSE. And I think it's my favorite, like...
Swag.
Right?
Brup,
Yeah.
brup.
So I can't take credit for the name. That was my senior, all of it.
All right.
But it's so cool to like go around and say it could be worse to anyone, any question anybody has for you. It's amazing.
So as the head of the club, the poetry club, what are your responsibilities?
It's actually pretty flexible. You can do whatever you want. So
Do you have to actually be part of the poetry, like on stage thing, or you're like, okay, you are handling admin work, you got to make sure that these guys are going on stage?
No, you get elected head or secretary based on like popular vote, right?
All right.
So I mean, it helps if you're part of the circle yourself because you know how it works, but you don't have to be. So like, we don't only like it's not only it's not very elitist in that sense that every member is also a writer and a poet. It's honestly, I just keep it open for anybody who likes poetry to show up.
Now,
And
you said liberal arts college, which means there will be some people who think little, I won't say left of center, but right also of center. Like,
no, it's all left.
All 360.
It's all left.
Okay, fine.
I had this one poem where I made a lot of jokes about Trump, but that's about it.
All right.
You know what? I actually want to hear you perform it. Just
Cool, I'll do it like the second poem. I can do
Yeah,
that one.
because when you're doing the
Maybe.
second poem, you have to do the Trump one. Why not?
that'd be so cool.
No, it's it's not a poem about Trump. I've just like subtly dropped in references.
All right.
Nice.
There.
All right.
So, what kind of things do you do for your poetry club? Like, what kind of events do you organize, and what have you done for your club?
Okay, so basically what I started with doing is having no attendance policy. If you want to show up, we are having a meeting. You are more than welcome. Bring your tea and your vada pav. It's all open. And we generally meet like once a week for a few hours or so. And people, like so what I try to do is have different like themes for each week. So this one time the theme was like wonder or awe-inspiring things. So people just brought in poems that they liked or they talked about this theme, and then we just sat in a circle and talked,
That's
like
not
about
bad.
how we felt about the poems and stuff. It was really nice. It's very wholesome.
How many of these dudes come with ek tarfa pyar type poetries?
Honestly, none. It's amazing.
You all don't take them into the club anyways. Like,
They wouldn't come, which is great.
Spares you the pain, the unrequited.
What about when you go to different colleges for these competitions? Do dudes taking part come?
Absolutely. Yeah.
What goes through your minds when you hear someone again writing a poem about "wo chhod ke chali gayi"? Like, what do you all think? Like, what is wrong with you all?
I don't know. Like, some of it, by a long stretch, has some poetic value. I mean, I'm sure something went through their heads, like they had some emotions that they thought they could put on paper with this. But some of them I really do not understand. But like, it's cool. Like, the whole point of poetry is expression. And I feel like as long as you aren't harming or insulting anyone who should not be, like, hasn't asked to be insulted.
Has anyone told you, like, like subtly in poems about how he likes you or something, or she likes you also?
No.
No?
That's not yet.
Have you written in your, like, immature days poetry about he comes in my dreams? Like,
No.
All right.
I've written angsty poetry after I no longer like someone.
Oh, okay.
But it's never before.
Okay.
And they never see it. That's the whole point.
So you don't perform it?
No.
It's in your book. Oh.
So, like, you don't want to regret it.
Exactly,
You don't want to
like-
regret writing cheesy shit because, like, in the end, like, 5 years down the line, you're going to be like, chee. But then the angsty stuff,
Basically.
it always
Also,
stays
like,
with you,
all
right?
social media has this like memories function now.
All right.
And I would just rather not have poems from 5 years ago pop up in my face. Like, it's fine. We left that behind. That's what the poem was for.
Krupa, you said that with such great conviction that you have done something like this before.
Am I going to tell you though?
Okay.
No.
Okay, fine.
Forms of expression.
Have you written music? Have you written songs about people you like?
Okay. Yes, that's a very nice question. Back in the days, a couple of songs that I have, but I'm not really proud of it because I don't even listen to the songs anymore. But with the current band I'm with, Vice Versa, a lot of the songs, like when I started the band Vice Versa, it was when I was in that phase of trying to put out this one girl. So most of the songs, at least that time, was towards her. And that girl became girlfriend. It was songs about how awesome she is. Now the girl is the wife. And it's still, most of my songs are about that one woman who's the number one woman in my life.
That's so cute.
So
Okay, but I would concur. She's super cool.
she is.
So cool.
All right, coming back to poetry.
P-Man's like blushing. He's like red.
Lots of derailing is happening here. How does one join your poetry club?
You text me. And I tell you what time we're meeting and you show up.
That's it? You don't have to fill some form and...
No. So, like most clubs that have like regular like events or they take part in a lot of competitions and stuff, like they have a lot more like rigid rules on membership and stuff like that, where if you don't show up for meetings you're kicked out. But like the point of this club isn't to perform only. It's also just appreciate poems.
All right.
So anyone who wants to come can just come, like come once and then leave. That's fine. I'm not going to like hold you to it.
Oh,
So
wow.
anyone from your college or anyone from other colleges can also come in?
So there's no rule that says you can't have other people coming in. So people just come. It's great.
From other colleges?
Yeah. Like,
That's
I mean,
so cool.
if they know me, I'll be
Yeah.
like, hey, you want to come? And they just drop by. It's pretty cool.
That's super cool, no?
Have your parents heard any of your poems?
Yeah. They have actually.
What do they
They've
think?
come to like see me at slams and stuff, so it's okay. It's good.
Oh, they approve.
I mean, the ones that I know will be approved are the ones they've heard. So,
Oh, how do you decide that though?
just the content in general. So,
Alright.
like the ones that I wouldn't like people reading, I just don't put them out.
All right, fair enough.
It's not even like about parents or anyone. Just in general, if I don't want someone reading it, it doesn't go out.
Who are some of your favorite poets in the poetry scene right now?
Like in general, I love the people that like Button Poetry chooses to pick up and like feature and stuff. They have some pretty amazing work.
Okay.
Phil K and Sarah K are fantastic. They have their own thing with like Project Voice and stuff like that.
How about local Indian scene?
So I mean, I don't know anybody like famous per se, but like thanks to college and poetry club and events that I go to, I do interact with like quite a few people on a more personal level.
Okay.
We swap poems and stuff. So that's pretty fun.
All right. I guess with that, it's time to take a chotu break. And we'll be back and talk some more stuff about poetry and Pune and vada pavs with Roshni. Roshni. BRB guys.
Hello and welcome to a brand new and exciting week on IVM. We'd like to give a shout out to our sponsors, Storytel and Paytm Money. This week on Cyrus Says, author and poet Jerry Pinto talks to Cyrus about how Bombay has been a muse in his writing, his unique teaching style as a professor, his sleeper hit novel M and the Big Whom, and more. Also check out the special Q&A edition of Cock and Bull that we did with Cyrus, where me and Amit Doshi sat down and asked him a bunch of questions for an hour. It was a lot of fun. It's the 100th episode of the Pragati podcast. On this episode, the tables have turned. Pawan Srinath occupies the guest seat and Winona Laisram serves as the host. She talks to him about his last decade of working in public policy and recording 100 podcast episodes. On Business Next by Bloomberg Quint, Govindraj Ethiraj talks to the co-author of the best-selling book Fish, Harry Paul. They talk about the importance of a culture of excellence in an organization. On our brand new show, The Origin of Things, Chuck narrates a story of an industrious town, the effect of war and employee benefits before it was cool. Will you be able to guess the brand before Chuck reveals it? Listen in to find out. On What a Player, Akash, Mikhail and Siddharth are analyzing the ongoing World Cup matches and also the trending topics of other sports. On Not Just Dhansak, Perzan talks to Vera Springett about how Parsis exchange food recipes online. On Keeping It Queer, Naveen and Farhad are joined by Mahima Kukreja, who led the bandwagon of the Me Too movement in India. They discuss the movement and its consequences. On Paperback, Satyajit and Racheta talk to Mansi Shetty, the founder of What Are You Reading Today, about her mood-based book recommendations. And with that, let's continue on with your show.
You are listening to the ATKT Talent Tent podcast, and Rohit and I are talking to Roshni from Symbiosis School of Liberal Arts, Pune. And we were just talking about the slam poetry culture in Pune or like in all of India. And yeah, tell us. So have you performed for slam poetry events or competitions?
Yeah, quite frequently.
And do you travel to other cities, or like what's the culture like?
Oh my, before that,
Yeah.
I want to know what is the difference between a regular poetry and slam poetry.
Yes, this gets confused so often. I'm so glad you asked. The idea of slam poetry is that slam implies that it's competitive. You're trying to slam someone
Oh, it's
else's
like
poem with your amazing poem.
Dissing. It's like battle raps.
No, it's not like attacking each other's poems, but it's not like a battle, but it's more like, here is my poem. And
My word is more difficult than your word.
more richer, better performed. Not difficult per se, but like an overall better, like generally like the content, the way it's delivered and everything is more effective and like it has more of an impact on people.
Okay. And a regular poetry is none of the above?
No, so I mean, well, poetry in itself is just words, I guess, and like whatever there's a lot of fascinating theory on this actually. Like there's this whole idea of poetry with a capital P versus poetry with like a small p, and the whole like the whole idea here is that like poetry with the capital P is it's like an abstract concept.
Okay.
Like the wind in your hair, there is something poetic about that, but you might not have a poem about it, but the phenomenon in itself is poetry.
All right.
Whereas a poem is when you have words that describe something that's poetic.
Like the wind was cold, which went through your hair.
Yeah. I mean, it could be more artistically presented, but essentially it's that idea.
Artistically. Okay.
That's such a
I
nice
guess.
way to put it.
What a slam poetry line that was. Yeah, sorry. Now, back to Krupa's.
Let's talk about the slam poetry culture, no?
Okay, so I feel like it picked up in India quite recently over the last, I would say, 3 to 4 years, where I think the biggest platform that this happened was the National Youth Poetry Slam that happened in 2016, where we had like, the whole point was that it was a national level slam and college students from all over the country auditioned and then came to represent their colleges at this large event. And because of that and the scale that it reached, this it then percolated down to like smaller slam events and open mics and things that became a lot more regular. So in Pune, at least at this point, every weekend there's an open mic somewhere or the other.
Okay.
And it's not just poetry, it's also like comedy and music, but poetry has increasingly become a large part of it.
Okay.
So like ATKT has an event every month.
That we
In
do.
Pune, yeah. How come you never come for any of them?
I came for a few of them last year. This year they've mostly been on like days I have exams. It's just really, really bad
How
timing.
many exams are you giving?
So yeah, like liberal arts is just constant
Okay.
assignments and research papers,
All right.
which is fun, but also little bit limits your social life.
All right. All right. Okay.
So tell us about the NYPS sport, like the slam event that happened. Because I know a few of my friends had represented my college. I know Mekhla and Mavis and Anushka, I think. Yes. What's the culture like? Like, I mean, I imagine the whole like scene to be super engaging and like wholesome. I wouldn't say wholesome. Encouraging, I suppose, because there's like the best poets from all over the country are coming, and like
Is this
there's-
nationally, like
So
the
it
government
happened-
of
no,
India
it's not
recognizes it?
national.
No, okay.
It only happened once because it's like a logistical feat to accomplish, right? Like auditioning from the whole country and then having college represent and then accommodation and the whole competition as a whole. It was like a lot of work went into it.
Okay.
And I thought it was pretty cool because I think it put people from all over the country in the same room. And since like Krupa said it, like with good poets like of a similar standard and quality in the same room from all sorts of places like different colleges, that was, I would use the word wholesome for this event. I would totally use it. Like if you fumbled on stage or something, the audience would be rooting for you.
Okay.
Not like while it was a competition, at no point did it feel like you were competing.
Was this open to all languages?
No, this one event was not. But like since it was the first event of this scale,
All right.
they kept it like specifically with the English language.
Okay.
But then after that, of course, most like open mics and smaller scale slams are open to anybody who comes.
Okay.
So they did have features by like Hindi poetry groups. They had a feature with this Teach for India project, which is bringing poetry to school children.
Mm-hmm.
And they had some poets from Pakistan come down as well.
Okay.
So like there was a lot of diversity at the event, but the competition was restricted to English poetry.
Okay.
And I think it was great because like we got to like meet a lot of new people with the same interests as us. So like Krupa mentioned a lot of her friends from her college. I actually met them for the first time there, and we've stayed friends and stayed in touch. And it's really cool that you can like build a whole friendship because you read each other's poems this one time.
Wow. Cute.
So wholesome.
so wholesome.
Is that how you know her?
I actually know her because Mekhla, my junior, and I are very close. And Mekhla and I decided to go for the Jaipur Literature Fest earlier this year. And she was like, hey, my friend is also coming. Can she join? And I was like, sure. And then we met so my aunt lives in Jaipur and we met at hers for the first time. And then we just got along and we've stayed in touch since.
Wow.
Yeah, it was great. I saw her like so there was a bunch of like super cool poets from God knows where coming in and like performing, and she would just watch them with like glistening eyes. It was so cute. It was awesome. I mean, poetry is great to watch.
I agree.
Right?
I agree.
You would know since you've been to many of those ATKT Talent Tent poetry open mics.
Yeah.
In-
I would say, yeah.
You have,
Definitely,
right?
I have.
Yeah. In Pune and Mumbai and Bangalore also, and
Delhi also.
Delhi also.
Yeah, yeah.
And Chandigarh?
No, I've
no,
never been
not
to Chandigarh
Chandigarh yet. No.
Actually, and I think the more passionate poetry audience is definitely I felt in Delhi. Mumbai also. Mumbai, I think most of the people just are coming because there's no other space for them. But Delhi, they are into it. So I guess Delhi was cool. I want to ask you, you've taken liberal arts. What is your liberal arts curriculum like, since you're saying you have so many exams?
So, okay, first of all, I will like backtrack on that one. It's not so many exams, but liberal arts is founded on this like political ideology of needing to broaden your mind and study across different disciplines of study. And it's ancient. It goes back to like Greek times.
Oh, okay.
It's an old concept, but it's being like revamped into college spaces, and it's come to India fairly recently, over the last decade or so. And the whole idea is that there's a core curriculum which everyone has to do, and then beyond that you get to do whatever you want. Like, you pick a major and a minor, and you can do literally whatever you want. So I'm doing a major in psychology, and I have a double minor in anthropology and media studies.
Okay, wow. So what are the other electives you can take for your minors?
All sorts of things. Like, I have a friend who's like doing economics and psychology. I know someone doing linguistics, political science.
But it's not like someone is taking
math.
gardening, you know,
No,
as
like,
a minor.
So, no, those will come as like 1 semester long classes, not as a whole minor. So a minor or a major specialization is across the 4 years of your degree.
Okay.
You like keep having classes and you like specialize in it. Whereas you keep, alongside these, you have like electives, which is like 1 semester long short courses. So I did one in Marxism. I did one on comparative mythology. I did one on human development.
Wow.
So it's really cool.
How did you know about this liberal arts thing? Did you do any research, or just someone told you, hey, you know what, you should try this out?
It's actually funny because I hadn't done a lot of research, but after 12th, I was like struggling between what to do with my life, because I was this like science kid who did really, really well in science.
Oh, okay, really well.
But I didn't want to do science. Or like, I mean, like, I did want some science, but also like I like poetry and I like other stuff too. So I was like trying to find a place I could do both, because I couldn't choose at that point. I had no idea what to do with my life. And then this neighbor of mine was like, hey, you know Symbi? It's like right here in your own city. And they have this thing where you can do bio and English and math. You should check it out. And I'd never heard of it before because it was relatively new at that time. Like, I think maybe one batch had graduated.
Mm-hmm.
So I called them up and we went and spoke to the faculty there, and it's amazing.
Wow.
So let me get this straight. So if you want to do science but you also want to do like literature, then you can just go in and like choose these subjects and
Yeah, absolutely.
That sounds like a dream, honestly.
It is.
It is,
It's
yeah.
great.
Like, I remember I would have definitely not taken bio in college. I did science and then I did engineering. I dropped out of engineering. Like, my favorite thing about bio was in that amoeba to do dots, you know, tuck, 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 tuck. Yes, so that's my favorite thing about bio. But yes, but so what about the other students who joined liberal arts? They had any idea what they were getting into? They did the research?
Yeah, quite a few people have done research, but like also since it's a relatively new field, for many of us it was more of like I don't know what I want to do just yet, and here is a safe place where I can like experiment and then choose a specialization, because it's a 4-year degree and you only pick your like specialization.
4-year degree.
It's a 4-year degree.
Okay.
But it's also like that many more credits as compared to a 3-year degree, so you are getting a lot more out of it.
Okay.
And you don't have to pick your specialization until your 2nd year. So you have 1 year to do all sorts of crazy things. So we did like math, environmental studies, English, philosophy, all at the same time.
So if you want to do your majors in philosophy or say environmental studies, do they have that much, like what we call visiting faculty to come and teach?
Yep, they do.
That's mad for Pune. Wow. That's amazing.
For
I
like-
wish something with this, my time, yeah. We had just had arts, commerce or science, you know.
Even my dad says so. Like, he finds it very baffling that I picked a major in literature, English literature. He was like, मैंने तो commerce, मैंने तो BCom किया था. Like, I don't even know what course you're doing, and this is the first in our family. Like, because me and my siblings, my cousins actually, first cousins, all 3 of us have picked nothing that goes along with anyone's like conventional like ideas. Like, none of us have picked commerce or science. We've just like arts. My sister does art history, and like my brother wants to do automobile designing, and like it's just
See, automobile designing is still like, you know,
like
what?
the aesthetic type, not like the
Engineering type.
not the engineering
Okay,
type.
okay.
So, I mean, even today, like whenever I go for like a family event or something, there's always someone asking me if, you know, मतलब बेटा क्या कर रहे हो, science या commerce? That's not even an option. Like, it's so crazy how, like, even though right now BA is normalized, there's so much more
within a BA.
Within
that's
a
not
BA.
even explored.
Oh, I mean, to give you some context, when I was getting out of college is when BM and BMS was introduced.
And when was that? 1978.
No, I think mid 2000s, or early 2000s. I'm not sure, but yeah. So
Wrong century.
way, I'm damn old. I mean, shit. Yeah. what research should someone do before picking out a college or a stream or even an elective?
I think you should personal experience. Honestly, I just liked a lot of things. At no point was it, I don't want to do this. It was more of like, I don't want to be a doctor or an engineer. So what's left?
Patient.
And
Nothing.
no, but at one point there may have only been 2 options left, but now you have like a million.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, now what? So then I tried to find things that interested me and tried to find a place where I could briefly dabble in all of them and then decide.
Okay.
Because until 12th I was a pure science student, PCMB and everything.
How did your parents react to you not doing science?
I feel like they knew it was going to happen.
Okay. But you said you were good at it.
So I never wanted to be an engineer or a doctor, and that was abundantly clear.
All right.
So I did actually give the engineering exams. I also gave law entrance exams.
Okay. I heard law is more nonsense than engineering.
Oof, yes, it makes no sense. I mean, it makes sense, but the laws are of something someone wrote down years ago and not physics that you can actually see happening.
You know what scares me is medicine. You know, in medicine, the passing cutoff is 80% to 85% for your exams when you're studying medicine, which means some people will get that 15% wrong. Isn't that scary?
It's so scary.
Yes, Divi, how many more liberal arts colleges are there in India?
So there's SSLA where I go. There's Flame, which is also in Pune.
Yeah.
Oh, so Flame is a liberal arts college.
Is, yeah.
That's why they're so chill over there. So which means all liberal arts are just chill people.
What do you mean by chill exactly?
They have, it's college, whatever. It's it's like a little toned down version of what Karan Johar is putting in colleges.
I actually beg to differ because liberal arts is not, from what I've seen, because there's a lot going on and because you like doing things, there's a lot more effort going in that I wouldn't say more than the engineering this thing, but there's a lot more scope for doing more than that's required.
I feel like the onus comes on the student. So we have to do one subject compulsorily as a major and one as a minor. But you're allowed to do way more than that if you want to.
Pick 2-3 more minors.
2 minors because it's a lot of work. It's an extra course every semester.
Can you pick 2 majors?
Yeah, but then if you do 2 majors, then you can't do 2 minors because then it's too much work.
All right.
And along with these, you have to do a research project, a full thesis level research project, which is not something that most undergrad colleges have. That's more of a postgrad concept.
It is, yeah.
So the fact that they make us do it and from scratch completely, and you're trained in research methodology and stuff at a very earlier stage in your career than you would be if you did a conventional degree. So simple things like that. And I think even in our general normal courses, a lot of the assignments and the schedule and the way that class is conducted it's more interactive than a conventional college.
Right.
So there'll be classes where it's taught by students in a seminar style where you read and you come and you teach the rest of the class.
Wow.
And you're evaluated on how well you taught what you understood.
Wow. It sounds a lot of fun, man. Liberal arts.
It's a lot of fun. It's
liberal arts in colleges in Mumbai?
NM just started
NM
one.
is, yes. Now it is. There's one NM college, but not many popular ones actually. People usually opt for Symbiosis because of the
there's
culture.
There's more history.
Yeah, exactly. And there's also
Ashoka.
Ashoka
is
there.
That's in Delhi?
That's in Sonipat, Haryana.
Okay. In Delhi.
And there's Jindal, which is also...
Even your lovely college and all of that? Amity and all?
That's
I'm getting all these little private institutions are doing liberal arts.
They're on the verge of, they're trying, but not fully, isn't it?
Yeah.
Again, I don't mean to sound like an uncle question, but how many people, any famous people out of liberal art colleges in India? Someone has gone to do
So it's relatively a newer concept, right? It's only a decade old. So people who just got out aren't famous yet.
Okay.
If you ask me again in 5 years, I hope I will have names for you.
Remember, dosto, we have to ask Roshni in 5 years, where has she reached?
Yeah, but a lot of people who have done well in their careers come back to teach at these colleges.
Okay.
Like, so it's like...
That's not doing that well.
No, like, so for my journalism class, we had someone who is a practicing journalist come and take it.
Okay.
So stuff like that. So like, there's this engagement with the field constantly.
All right.
Instead of just having someone who's specialized in teaching.
Yeah, like in engineering, most of the young teachers were just the frustrated engineers who graduated and didn't get jobs, so they came to teach. And they would just hate you for your assignments. Like, I'm product of that environment.
You hate engineering, don't you?
Man, engineering is what separates, figurative speaking, the men from the boys. As in, up till 12th, I mugged and got through. Engineering में यार समझना पड़ता है, mug नहीं होता है.
As opposed to?
Let me give you an example.
Okay.
Like, as opposed to let me tell you first in the beginning. In engineering, first year, you have computer programming, which teaches you basic C, and then it's C++ in the second year. So I am so bad at this programming things that I could not understand anything. I mugged 40s passing. So 37 you're supposed to get. And then you get 3 marks grace and you get 40 and you pass the subject. I mugged 37 marks ka worth ka theorems and like everything. Properly, each and every step I mugged it and I went. But in the exam, XYZ became ABC.
Oh no.
14 out of 100 mil gaya paper mein.
Ouch.
Yeah, so you have to understand in engineering. Again, when I went to, then I quit engineering and did arts. Arts, I enjoyed psycho and socio so much, especially socio because it's your own interpretation too of what you think of the theory. Yeah, there are particular theories and this, that and all, but I enjoyed my arts way more than I enjoyed engineering. So yeah, I really hated engineering.
But I was Googling this and I noticed that a lot of engineering people are dropping out, not only because they don't like engineering, but also because there's actual programs by successful investors that will readily fund you to do your startup. If you quit college, that is. So young, like under 20 people, they can just like you have to pitch your idea, and they will pick like 20 people under the age of 20, and they will basically fund your startup. And all you have to do is like be good and be smart about and believe in your. I mean, you just have to have your things right. And they will.
Yeah, I guess at below 20, it's very chances. You have to be brilliant. I'm guessing
exactly,
to be that 20.
Exactly,
Yeah.
And it's a very very expensive program. Like the people will, I think, close to $200,000 is what I read, and that's a lot of money for a 19-year-old. But like if you like. The person who was funding this program, he said that it's not just so the degree is just hygiene. You have to believe in what you want to do. It's the direction you want to go in, right?
Yeah.
And I think it stands for like not just engineering. It's like every program, every like course you do.
Okay.
So I mean, you drop out. Like if you like a subject, then good for you. But I mean, you're going to end up where you have to if you really like what you do.
And man, this is going to sound like a very uncle question, but what are you going to do after your college?
I was waiting for this to happen. It's a question that students from liberal arts get asked all the time.
Exactly.
So I have come prepared. Basically, what I realized from my degree is that I will need a master's to get a job, number one.
Yeah.
In the field of psychology, yes.
Okay.
And number two is that I really like this whole idea of like interdisciplinary study, and that's becoming more and more useful like in the workforce as technology starts taking over the world and all that. Like you need people who are equally well versed in computers and psychology.
Okay.
To develop AI, for example. Mm-hmm. You need people in media who also understand business. Like it's difficult to separate disciplines at this point. And based on all of this, I have decided that I want like get some experience, do internships and stuff, and just work in different fields and do research, and then do a master's program. Hopefully, I'm still like sorting this out. I have 1 more year to go.
Okay.
But in either behavioral sciences or human-computer interaction.
Okay. And what about poetry?
That is something I love doing and will keep doing, but on the side.
All right. Okay.
That was awkward silence.
Yeah.
Love that band.
All right. So I think we've come to a nice, interesting end with this topic. Talking with Miss Roshni about poetry and the poetry scene in Pune colleges, and also about choosing a right college. Anything you want to tell the students listening to this, or the parents or their elder siblings? What should their wards keep in mind while selecting the right colleges?
I feel like there's a difference between the course you want and the college you want.
Okay.
Like, there can be a difference. Because, like some colleges are known for a course, whereas on the other hand, some colleges are known for the reputation that they have or the culture that they have with them. So just, I think, be aware of that when you're looking at colleges to go to. And what you might not get from the course, you might get from the culture, and vice versa.
All right.
And like fundamentally, it's what you take away from it at the end of the day.
So, is it possible for you to ask the professors of said college for guidance? Like,
absolutely. I should have mentioned that. Like go to the colleges, see the campus, try and talk to students if you can, talk to faculty, see how they feel about like students in general. Because like what I love about my college is that our faculty genuinely care about us as people and not just as students. And that's why we can have clubs. That's why we can have faculty come and read poems with us every week. That's why we can have this like constant engagement of people doing what they really, really want to do alongside everything else that they're already doing. So yeah, the more people who want you to succeed, the better.
It's not be like, my friends are going to this college and I will go there. That's the worst thing you can do, I believe.
I don't know. I mean, if you're whatever your circumstances are, if you're forced into a stream, for example, like, enough people don't have that choice.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm sure having your friends around you in a place like that would really help.
Right.
So, it depends on you, honestly. There's no right answer.
All right.
I also haven't graduated and haven't gotten a job yet, so take it with a pinch of salt.
That was Roshni Raheja. And we're going to take a small break and be right back with Roshni doing a special poem with dropping hints on Trump for us. After this.
Advertising is dead. Yep, you heard me right. Advertising is dead. We're all in the content business now. Let's not call it news, TV, radio, etc., etc. It's all content, and we're in the middle of this weirdly exciting phase where all the borders and lines that have been drawn over decades has been swept away by this lovely thing called the internet. We're a show where we don't dwell on just the stuff that is now, but rather the wider stuff about advertising, media, content, and the whole goddamn circus surrounding it. Tune in every Tuesday for our weekly unboxing of the mystery box we used to call advertising. I'm Varun Dugirala, co-founder and content chief at The Glitch, and this is my new podcast, Advertising is Dead.
Recipe for a powerful poem. You will require 1. A call to action, an idea you think the world absolutely needs to hear. 2. Feelings. Let your emotion flow and capture it in a vial. Keep this essence of passion in an easily accessible place for future use. 3. Words. Collect wonderful words, words you can play with, words you can play on, words you enjoy. Use your resources to your advantage. Before you begin, clear your space of all negative influences, whether it's an annoyingly loud child, a disapproving adult, or even a peer who insists that poetry is useless. Dismiss them. Or better yet, put up a wall, since that's apparently an acceptable way for us to deal with our problems now. Firstly, do not grease the pen, just like you would not grease the palms of those who shut you down. You are not writing to be palatable, you are writing to be heard. Your poetry should be strong, not smooth, and need not follow rules. Feel free to use plastic on the stove or metal in the microwave. The resulting sparks of creativity you should definitely save. Mix together your stories and incidents that matter, whether it's the first time you scraped your knee, or the not-so-silent rage of students in 2016. When you have the privilege of raising your voice, you absolutely must take that choice. Store in a healthy amount of vivid comparisons. No matter how many times you hear the words, yes, poets, we get it. Things are like other things. Do not let it stop you from creating fantastic metaphors, the flavoring which every poetic dish needs. Especially when you have ingredients that are too controversial, too bitter or sour on their own. It is metaphors alone that will camouflage them as zesty, tangy, and worth a sampling. Which then brings me to... For an extremely engaging taste, do not forget in your haste to add in plenty of sensations and imagery, the hue of the flowers that grow underneath your bedroom window, the glint in your best friend's eye, the waste of your professor's sigh, the sound of heeled shoes on a wooden floor, tales of wild animals and old folklore, the smooth dismissal of problems by people who simply do not care, the smell of revolution as it leaks like gas and saturates the air. This would be an appropriate time now to add in the essence of passion. And no, I do not mean like 2 drops of vanilla, but I mean you should pour and keep pouring until every vegetable, every word is soaked in your ecstasy, drips with your anguish, glistens with your anger, and sizzles with the smoke of the words you have waited so long to say. The people who insisted you go back into the kitchen should be left in shock when you emerge and serve them what you've written, but before that, garnish with a salty sprinkling of satire, and yes, that is a reference to the meme. Because let me tell you something about awareness today. It's not found only in black and white newsprint, but spans an entire spectrum of subtle humor. When the paper is focused on all the wrong things, and students around the world hesitate before speaking up, in fear of the looming upper hands that threaten to silence them, every time they try to rise and protest. The internet will be our serving tray horse, satire, our solid shining cutlery armor, and powerfully penned poetry, our food for thought, our chosen weapon of change. Lastly, once you have realized the sheer potential of your words, the raw power in your voice, and the hold you have over people who want to and need to listen to what you have to say, serve it to them straight off the stove. Hot, strong, and mind-blowing.
And that was Roshni Raheja. We're so glad that you came, and yeah, we'd love to see you again. Right, P-Man?
Yes, coming straight out of Pune and the expressway.
Shiv Neri represent.
Thank you so much for doing this. And where can someone reach out to you on social media?
My Instagram handle is @Rosh_no. Or you can, I don't know, find me on Facebook or something. That works.
Or they can follow your awesome poetry club
yes,
page,
our
right?
poetry club is also on Instagram. So the handle is @VerseItCouldBe.
Okay, wow.
That is that.
I hope you will come for the next poetry social ATKT that we do in Pune.
I definitely will.
Ting, 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 ting.
We also... that's all. We also have talent tents happening in all sorts of places around the country. We have one in Mumbai, we have in Pune, Delhi, Chandigarh, Shillong. I'm so sorry, Shillong, I love you. And yeah, drop by and hang out with us. We'd love to talk to you. And otherwise, you can just email us at talent@atkt.in.
And if you like what you do or what you sing or what you write, we'd love to have you on the podcast as well, because we are always on the lookout for some really talented people. You could be one of them. Are you a Roshni?
What?
I'm Roshni?
I'm Krupa.
To the students.
Okay.
You could be the next Roshni.
It's brightening people's lives.
It's brightening people's lives.
That was a really bad joke. I'm so sorry.
All right. And
there have been worse.
Could always be worse. Anyway, thank you. This was fun. I'm so glad you guys had me here.
If you like this podcast, don't forget to check out our other interesting podcasts on the IVM network. You can listen to us on the IVM Podcast app or ivmpodcast.com. You can also follow us on social media. We are at IVM Podcast on Twitter and Instagram. And if you want to follow ATKT on Twitter, Krupa?
You follow us at ATKTIN on Twitter, ATKTIN on Instagram,
YouTube.
Facebook page, look it up. ATKT ING on YouTube.
Yeah, see, basically, if you follow one place, now we have links to all the other places also.
Yeah,
so
man.
we'll just send you there. And if you want to follow me, I am P-Man, and on Instagram at Rohit Pereira. And if you want to follow Krupa, remember 6:15 Borivali Local on platform number 3 Bandra Station. Follow her there. We are doing our monthly property, the Poetry Social in Chandigarh at Sector 7 Social on the last Tuesday of every month. From the July, August, September editions, we're selecting 3 poets to be a part of the big poetry bash hosted by Sector 7 Social, which will be live streamed, shot, edited and made a big deal of. And will push the poetry and spoken word scene in Chandigarh. So watch out for more updates on the ATKT social media platforms and register.
How many times have you motivated yourself to improve your sleep or lose weight or be more productive? How many times have you failed? Hi, my name is Ashton Doctor. Tune into my show, The Habit Coach Podcast, where we focus on creating small, tiny habits to improve your life instead of those big, impossible tasks. So make listening to me a habit every Monday, Wednesday and Friday on the IVM Podcast app or ivmpodcast.com or on your favorite podcasting app.
माणसं गोलगप्प्यासारखी असतात. हाय हॅलो करताना वेगळी आणि बोलताना वेगळी आणि गप्पा मारताना वेगळी, मित्र झाली की वेगळी आणि शत्रू म्हणून वेगळी, थोडक्यात दिसणारी वेगळी आणि असणारी वेगळी, कधी आंबट, कधी गोड, कधी तिखट, तर कधी चमचमीत आणि कधी कधी हॉट अँड स्पायसी सुद्धा. आणि म्हणूनच गप्पा सॉरी गोल गप्पा विथ तृप्ती खामकर फक्त तुमच्यासाठी दर बुधवारी IVM पॉडकास्टच्या ऍपवर, वेबसाईटवर किंवा युट्यूब चॅनलवर सुद्धा ऐकू शकता. तुम्ही आमचा पॉडकास्ट वेगवेगळ्या पॉडकास्ट प्लॅटफॉर्मवरती ऐकू शकता. फक्त सर्च करा गोल गप्पा विथ तृप्ती खामकर आणि आमचा पॉडकास्ट ऐकत रहा.